Hi, my name's Michaela. This is my first blog post ever, but I'm blogging today because I wanted to talk about the idea that people are stupid. That's a phrase that I hear at least 5 times a day. I hear it from my peers, I hear it from adults, but it's just that general phrase, people are stupid. And ranting is okay as long as we don't believe it. And the problem with today's culture is that when we say things enough, we start to believe it. And when we hear things enough, we start to believe it. And that creates a misunderstanding. So before we start throwing the word stupid around, we need to define stupid and we need to define ignorance. Because ignorance to me is simply not knowing. You don't know how to complete a task. You don't know the answers to something, but you're willing to learn. You have a willingness to pursue knowledge. Stupidity, that occurs when people are unwilling to learn. They know they're in the wrong, they know that they're not doing things right, they don't have a desire to fix it. And the best example I have of this is the difference between the two is one of my previous jobs, I didn't know how to complete a task, and my manager was very condescending about it. For a moment, when she was talking to me, she was talking down to me as if I was stupid. And for a moment, I felt ashamed. I felt humiliated. And honestly, I thought that I deserved her criticism. And after a little bit, I became indignant because I thought about it and I knew that I hadn't known how to complete the task for her because I'd never been taught. I couldn't do something that I didn't know how to do, but I would have been willing to try. And the problem with society is that we are taught to be ashamed of being wrong. We are taught to be humiliated by what we don't know. We are taught that we will be judged by our mistakes more than our efforts. And we're taught to play stupid because it's easier to be judged for a facade than to be judged for what we actually don't know. And I thought that quiet classrooms, the ones where students stare blankly at the teacher and just sit there, I thought that those would end after middle school, and then high school, and now college. And to me, I'm not sure what's worse. I'm not sure if it's worse to have a class full of students who are afraid to ask questions for answers that they don't know, or a class full of students who could answer all of their peers' questions but are too insecure to respond. And I don't judge them because I do understand. Last semester, I received a D on an assignment. It was a creative interpretation assignment. And I received a D not because of grammar or because of anything that should be taught at a university. I received a D because my interpretation, my creative interpretation, did not match the interpretation that my professor had for the literature. And that's wrong. But I know personally I lost motivation. I settled into not caring. And I feel that that's something that as a whole we're starting to do. Everybody's starting to do it. We're developing apathy. We're losing ambition by doing that. And in turn, we're hindering progress. We're stopping all progress because we're scared of being wrong. So we can rant and complain about our peers, but ultimately, we're all going to learn differently. And unfortunately, that's become a phrase. We all learn differently. That's become a phrase that has lost impact because it's been used to justify wrong things. It's appeared to be taken too far. For example, isolating problem children in other classrooms and babying capable students. But in reality, it hasn't been taken far enough. When I was very little, I struggled with math. I hated it not because I didn't, I don't know, not because I didn't enjoy it, but because I didn't understand it. And the problem was that my teachers would explain it to me the same way over and over again. Like, why isn't this girl getting it? Like, she should understand right now that 100 pennies is not more than $1. But I never understood that. I couldn't grasp that concept. But for me, I eventually gave up and I fell victim to feeling stupid. And I was too young to understand that stupidity, that occurs when you try the same thing over and over and over again and you're expecting different results, but you fail to change any of the variables that you're working with. And for me, I just needed a different method of teaching. So before you judge someone for not understanding chi-squared or for appearing mute in class, offer your voice, offer your knowledge, offer your compassion. We're never wrong because of what we failed to understand, but we're always going to be wrong when we fail to share what we know.